Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. So do you guys remember a few months ago, Kathleen Kennedy announced that she'd be stepping down as Lucasfilm president. There are no plans for her to retire, she's still gonna stay on as an executive producer, especially for upcoming Star Wars movies, and she's still gonna be involved with the studio. Well, today we have something of an official update. In a new interview with a Hollywood Reporter, several Disney executives have weighed in on her successor, or should I say, successors. The two people they're considering are pretty much exactly who you think. The question is, are they the right choice? They were very popular a few years ago, but the fandom has changed. There are more divisions than ever before, and once beloved creatives are now seen as controversial. But look, I think there's always hope for the Star Wars franchise. Just recently, Andor Season 2 was a big win. But even if Kathy steps down, I'm not convinced real change is going to come anytime soon. She's still going to be part of Lucasfilm, and in spite of bogus rumors of Lucasfilm civil wars and divisions within the company, these two alleged successors have been her biggest advocates. So in terms of overall direction, where things are headed, don't expect radical change, at least not straight away. You might disagree, and you might say no, things are going to change overnight, it's all going to be amazing the minute she steps down, but we'll get into all of that in just a moment. Let's first take a look at what the Hollywood Reporter said. They sat down with several Disney executives, and what you notice straight away, with all of their studios, they're not looking for outside hires. They want to keep things in-house. It makes sense. I mean, they want someone who understands the company, someone who's been working their way up through the ranks, can transition to take on daily operations of the studio, someone who knows everyone there and knows the work environment. As billionaire Barry Diller says, hiring from the outside at the CEO level is an admission of failure. Ideally, you bring someone in early in their career and they marinate in your enterprise, gain experience, and succeed whoever is senior. That's a far better process. Bringing in a CEO you don't know, no matter how many hours you interview someone, you don't know them. It's a bad dice throw, and rarely works. It's bad for business. So then the Hollywood Reporter says, Lucasfilm seems to follow the same path in replacing Kennedy. Despite speculation about outside candidates, insiders say the company's going to promote those from within. The current thinking, and here's the reveal my dear friends, is Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni and Production Head Carrie Beck. And basically they're going to co-head. They're both going to share the role and take Kathy's place. They're both considered Lucasfilm veterans, and according to Disney, Filoni is considered George Lucas's protege. But they also say it's a big risk. So then we come to a crazy comment from a Disney insider, someone who was unnamed, but keep in mind this person works at the company. Talking about Dave, he says, he's not the Andor guy, he's the Ahsoka guy. And this comment is used to demonstrate why Filoni is too caught up in the mythology and might not be the best choice for appealing to the broader audience. I don't know about this, I think the biggest concern with Dave is he's more of a creative type. I'm sure he has some business acumen, and he's probably going to be trained in certain executive skill sets, but I just can't imagine him as Lucasfilm president. He's much less experienced on the branding, legal, corporate, and marketing side of things. But again, he can be trained. Another concern is some fans think he's better at the animated stuff and less talented on the live action front. And for those concerned about Dave Filoni's particular flavor of Star Wars, if he becomes co-CEO, there'll be less openness to innovation. There is something of a silver lining. Even though he's sung Kathleen Kennedy's praises, when she steps down, it'll be interesting to see what Dave and Carrie Beck can do without being under her thumb. Eventually, there might be some much needed changes. I'm just not convinced it's going to happen straight away. She's not going anywhere. She's going to remain a big influence as part of the transition. But just to return to the comment made by the Disney exec, I noticed something similar with comments about the Acolyte, but Disney's really changed their tune. It's kind of baffling someone within the company said this. He's not the Andor guy, he's the Ahsoka guy. As a fan, this should really give you pause. This is the first real indication that Disney is aware of how well Andor was received, and how maybe going forward they're going to pressure Lucasfilm to make shows and movies like it on the same level of quality. In this instance, it seems like they're saying Ahsoka wasn't as good as Andor. I might be reading too much into this, but this might be confirmation Ahsoka is not being renewed after season 2, which I guess we already suspected. But someone inside of Disney is making this comparison. They're saying, he's not Tony Gilroy, and we're concerned he's this other thing. They acknowledge the broader audience has slowly been losing interest. They need a win for the general audience. At this stage, if you're talking about the wider fandom beyond just the internet, whatever genre that is, it needs to be on the big screen. Whether it's legacy and familiar characters or new characters, with a new administration, Star Wars needs a new era, a new approach, and they need to come back strong. I think of all of the movies coming up, it's not The Mandalorian and Grogu and it's not the Rey movie I'm most excited about. It's Star Wars Starfighter, the movie by Sean Levy featuring Ryan Gosling. It's set post Episode 9, but as far as we know, according to the director, there is no Rey, no attachment to Episodes 7, 8 and 9. That gives the audience, both diehards and casuals, a chance to be introduced to a brand new era of heroes and villains. If it lands, it's the beginning of a fresh start. This is the movie that should have come first, not The Mandalorian and Grogu. And if they go the other way, and they want to do something with legacy characters again, current Lucasfilm doesn't seem to realize how easy a win could be. It's like I once said, Obi-Wan Kenobi wasn't as good as it should have been, but fans still care about those characters. Obi-Wan and Darth Vader are legendary. If they want to do something of a sequel, they've got to put it on the big screen. The two characters can't meet again until A New Hope, but there's still plenty of meat on the bone for both of them. Or alternatively, with Darth Vader, make a movie about him set in between the original trilogy films. Taking ideas from the Vader comics, which were widely popular in 2015 and 17, give it an Andor level budget, and market the hell out of it. That's a much easier win than they realize. I'm sure Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen would be down for it, and even fans who didn't like Kenobi seem to still be very passionate about those characters. Just look at the success of Revenge of the Sith's 20th anniversary. But you need to get those characters away from Disney Plus and in the movie theatre. Same if they want to do a Book of Boba Fett sequel. There's a lot of doomer talk about these characters being dead after those shows, but I disagree. You just have to give us better stories with them. But I think based on fan reception to the first seasons, Disney's afraid to do anything more with them. Look at the way Tamara Morrison's been sidelined. But you get new writers, new directors, it'll be a different story on the big screen. Just because fans didn't like Book of Boba Fett doesn't mean they hate the character of Boba Fett. So in light of Kathleen Kennedy maybe stepping down, you need a new approach. I think the main changes needed are a roadmap, an actual direction for the franchise. This includes games and books. The High Republic came to an end, and despite a few of those stories being pretty fantastic, apathy failed it. Same with a clear roadmap for video games. Have it be a multimedia project, one that has overlap in shows, movies, comics, and make a cohesive story whichever era you want to set it in, the Old Republic, the prequels, whatever it is. You have to send the message to fans that every story matters. When the stories are too low stake, when they're retconned, overwritten, detached, perceived as non-essential, you'll see the same decline we've seen with recent Star Wars comics. People just don't care anymore. So when you have interweaving stories across comics, video games, novels, and even Disney Plus shows, you can have one big climax on the big screen. I'm not saying the reading material has to be as high stake as the visual content, but if your story's interesting enough and your characters are strong enough, you'll see a greater success across mediums when fans feel like they have to read something or have to play a certain game. There was a time not too long ago people were starving for any breadcrumbs. Like I said, the Vader comics are a great example of this. For a couple of years, especially in light of sequel anticipation, the fandom went berserk for those stories. We need to bring Star Wars hype back to that place, but with a much stronger payoff. And with that roadmap, a clear marketing plan, putting the right creatives in charge, putting the story first, listen to fan wishes, following Andor Season 2. Continue stories of characters who had a lot of potential, and then you're giving Star Wars a fighting chance. Do I think things are going to change overnight? Unfortunately not. But what do you guys think? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. Are these good choices to succeed Kathleen Kennedy? Why so, or why not? And if you enjoyed this one, my dear friends, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new, check me out on socials, and may the Force be with you, always.